The West Virginia Derby at Mountaineer on Saturday, a mile and an eighth. Big pot here of $500,000 for the 3-year-olds going a mile and an eighth. Brad Cox has gotten to be a regular customer in the panhandle of West Virginia, and he's back. He's got the shipper in, Homebrew, who's going to be a strong contender in here as Cox returns to Mountaineer with another top flight contender. We the People, the horse who was one of the hot shots going into the Belmont Stakes, fourth place finisher in that one after setting the pace. You got Skippy Longstocking, who was third in the Belmont. Simplification, the winner earlier this year of the Fountain of Youth Stakes. And King Ottoman, the winner of the Texas Derby, and last out third in the Indiana Derby. So there are some credentials amongst this field of 7, Mr. Siegel.
It is a very good race, and you're talking about maybe a second level of the 3-year-olds, but with a horse like, for example, Homebrew, he's got a chance to maybe advance and put himself right on the cusp of that leading group if he can duplicate his most recent win in the Pegasus, which it was just a listed race, but it was the way he did it that was very, very impressive. You can see him on the outside in the pink. He's going to pulverize this field and go on and win it by more than 6 lengths, 97 Byron number, by far a career top, but giving every indication, Jeremy, that the longer they go, the better he's going to be. Right. And really, if you look at his form, he's got one bad race, and that was in the slop of the Smarty Jones. Draw a line through that, and he's pretty salty. I think he has a very good chance to take this raising class and win again. We the People, obviously, 2-1 in the morning line is going to be the favorite, or at least I think he will be, coming out of the Belmont, and before that, the Peter Pan win. And he'll be in front, but I don't think Homebrew will be too far behind. That's why I'm going to go with Homebrew to win for Brad Cox.
You know, this one's kind of in the hands of the weatherman, I think, a little bit. You know, when you look at the form for Homebrew, he's 4 for 4 on fast tracks. His 2 defeats came when there was a little bit of moisture. You look at We the People, and he freaked on a wet track. I know it was just listed as good, but that was a wet track when he won the prep for the Belmont Stakes in the Peter Pan. They're calling 50% chance of rain on Friday at Mountaineer, 50% chance of rain on Saturday. I can't give you a lean. 50 is 50, Jeff, but I'll tell you this. If it's wet, the lean probably goes to We the People. If it's dry, the lean to me strongly goes to Homebrew. So I'm going to keep an eye on the sky and an eye on the tote board on Saturday at Mountaineer when I handicap this race.
No, obviously that's part of the equation, and we're not sure what's going to happen. It's 50% rain, but it means 50% that it won't rain.
That's right.
So I don't know what we're dealing with here, but I mentioned Homebrew's race in the slop and the Smarty Jones' only poor run. So obviously, if it comes up wet, even though on pedigree he should like it off track based on by street sense and that of Where by Tappet. But again, his one poor run was there, and I don't know whether he just had a bad day, didn't like the track, or maybe he will handle it. I'm not sure. I'd certainly like to have it dry and fast for him, because that I know he'll handle. And if he were to win this race, or whoever wins this race, still has that big Pennsylvania Derby to shoot for next month. This is, I wouldn't call it necessarily a stepping stone to that race, but it is a lead into it for Colts that can win this one. There's still one big major race out there, and we'll see who can advance and maybe still have an outside chance. I mean, that's a long shot, I realize, but put himself in a championship picture. If, like, for example, if Homebrew were to win this race and then come back and win it at Parks, I mean, he'd still have to go and do something in the Breeders' Cup, but not that far removed. But it certainly makes him a part of that league. I think he's got it in him. I really do. Whereas We the People, I think he could win a big race, but I think things have to really go his way as they did in the Peter Pan. So a very interesting race, as you mentioned. The weather might hold the key.
And you've got Simplification in there, the horse who won the Fountain of Youth, fourth in the Kentucky Derby in a surprisingly good performance, then disappointed equally as much when sixth in the Preakness Stakes. What part of the rainbow is he on? I mean, is he on the upswing or the down?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. Horses go different directions here, so I'm not really sure with him, but I'm pretty sure that Homebrew is on the right path. So that's what I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm looking for a fast track, and I'm looking for Homebrew on a fast track to roll by him. I'll be using him pretty heavily in the multi-race wagers there at Mountaineer. Of course, we've got multi-race wagers this weekend with $25,000 in hit and splits to offer, including that pick 4 at Mountaineer that includes the West Virginia Derby. Let's look at this $25,000 weekend hit and split lineup from Express Bet and First Bet. Saratoga's late pick 4 on Saturday. Gulfstream's late pick 4 on Saturday. Got a late pick 4 at Del Mar and at Mountaineer, as we just talked about. $4,000 hit and splits at Gulfstream, Del Mar, and Mountaineer. We sweeten the pot a little bit even more with a $5,000 hit and split at Saratoga in their late pick 4 on Saturday. A couple of those at Saratoga and Del Mar for $4,000 apiece on Sunday. Hit and split simply means this: if you hit the pick 4 during those wagers, you get not only your pari-mutuel winnings when you bet with Express Bet and First Bet, you also split $4,000 or even $5,000 on that Saratoga Saturday late pick 4. You'll split those winnings just with people on the platforms at Express Bet and First Bet who also win. So take down the pari-mutuel money and add a little cash to your coffers